Welcome to another episode of Living Lives with Khalid. My guest today is a great friend of mine, Neel Shukla. What's up, Neel? How you doing?
Fantastic. How are you, buddy?
Oh, great. You're when I thought of this podcast, you're the first name that came up to my mind that I wanted to interview. So I'm happy we finally could set this up.
Well, this is the first podcast that I'm actually part of, and welcome to my art studio in Jabal. So you're looking at a glimpse of what I've created in the past year for various projects. So that's what's behind me at the moment.
Yeah,
So I'm
just
excited to be part of it. Yeah, good.
amazing. Just to give the viewers or listeners an idea, Neil is an artist and owns the Four Gallery and Design District. He's worked on many projects in Dubai that you probably have seen, just didn't know that this was the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain. He's worked on Burj Al Arab, and a lot of restaurants and then different projects. And so, welcome, Neil. We're here to talk
Thank you.
design, talk the industry, and then get to know some information about you. So let's start with your place right now. What are you working on currently? Is there any cool projects coming up that you can talk about?
So we were currently working on projects, all over the world, not just in the region. So I got projects in Rwanda, Kigali. I got one in Danesk. We have a couple of projects at the moment in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, of course, and we have a beautiful project in Oman. We just finished an incredible 20-meter installation there at City Center. Of course, the most challenging of my projects last year, the last 8 months, was an amazing Falcon, which was installed in the Radisson Red in the Silicon Oasis. And that installation took place during the whole COVID lockdown. So we were working in the tremendous social distancing pressure and all the hygiene and the permits for transportation. And we were on deadline by the operator to open the hotel, past September. So we had to deliver those milestones.
Yeah,
And that was really difficult.
and it was a heavy sculpture. It was not something that was light, isn't that? Yeah.
It's an outdoor piece, almost weighing 450 kilos, all steel. The problem was the sculpture is actually placed on a flat, on the ground level and meets the parking lot. So there was a lot of engineering calculation which we had to master, and we had to figure out earthquake, wind, also dead load. So if we had a couple of hundred people gravitating around the sculpture, we'd ensure that the weight of those people would not collapse the sculpture on the floor below.
Which is
So it was
crazy
more of
because when you think of design, you don't really think of physics or aerodynamics and any of these for most people. And so it's cool to see that you have to take into consideration so many things that the normal person wouldn't even think of.
Well, when it comes to outdoor installation, safety is a big issue, and the engineers, especially structural engineers, have to sign off on us creative people of what we're producing or installing. They will not sign off unless they are sure 100% that the safety aspect is checked. So it's my job as a creative person, being the artistic part, but at the same time providing all the documents and all the studies on what we are creating, how we're bringing, and how we're installing. Because at the end of the day, it's my neck on the line.
Yeah, of course.
So that's the challenging part. So it's more engineering. It's art engineering more than just being creative. Anybody can just draw on paper and make a sculpture, but how you successfully install that on a public space is a challenge. I mean, we have to think about, if there are children there, if they're going to touch it, whatever, even the material we use, the paint we use, apart from the sun, rust, corrosion, and if the child just starts licking the sculpture, you want to make sure there's no toxicities in the paint that the enemy can sink.
Definitely.
So,
And how do you test for these things? Like, let's say the W that you put up on the palm. How do you go about testing something like that? It seems a little bit difficult.
What the materials that we use are materials, they're very much noble materials they're used for outdoor environment, and these are all tested by different agencies, and before we use them for sculpting purposes, and we give those data sheet and the approval sheets to the structural engineers, and they have to sign off before we proceed with the sculpting process. So the making aspect is the most, I think, the least challenging part. The engineering aspect, the process is the most difficult one.
And do you have a creative process when it comes to the designs itself? Because your projects Very, and I don't know if the viewers know or listeners know, but you're exceptional with and you're unique with your lighting as well. You've worked on so many lights, I think from Burj Al Arab to very luxurious homes. So, do you have a creative process when you're making these pieces, whether they're chandeliers, whether they're sculptures, and how does that work in your head?
There's never been a single standardized formula.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked on very, very contemporary. Last year, I worked on a very modular but very contemporary spaceship kind of lighting installation in the villa in Emirates Hills. It was a single modular piece which was replicated 46 times over and hung an entire ceiling of the home, and it totally took up the entire space of the living room, and it looks like a spaceship from the outside.
That's amazing.
So that was really on, and we had to match the brass finish to the Georgetti furniture which was there. So the finishing was a big challenge because the architect was Bruno Galaf, wanted that feel and look to it. So that was really, and the entire fixation on the wall was seamless. We broke the entire ceiling. We hung everything from the slab, so all you could see is very, very small fisheye strings coming out, and the whole lighting installation was installed in two fixing points in front and the back. So it looked like it was just floating. Saying that, I just finished installation in the City Center, just 20 meters, but that was very nature inspired. So it was branches of leaves just flowing in the wind, and the bamboo branches just grabbing onto that, and they just gravitating in the air.
Did they already open that? Because there was a food court, correct? I think in the city center.
The food court is part B. This is
okay. So I kind of gave some spoilers away.
No, so it's installed. People can see it. That already there's people taking pictures and everything talking about it. It's not officially launched from their side, so I'm not not talking about it on social media or showing the pictures. So when they sign off, then we'll have a marketing campaign for that piece.
Yeah. No, it's really cool, and I love how you're able to have so many different pieces and remain busy, especially during this Corona times. Must have been difficult for you to manage through these times. How did you? Because I know you have a lot of people working with you in creating these massive sculptures, and how is it leading them and during this time? And you mentioned you touched on installation. It was difficult, but I'm sure there were also challenges throughout the process from creating the art or sculptures. How did you manage during these times?
It was a lot of begging and crying.
I can only imagine.
Well, we were at mercy of the regulations, of course, that we had to abide by. And at the same time, the people who were partnering with in logistics to the handling, because I can't do everything on my own. I need people to support me in a professional manner. So we had to really rely on them, and they would let us down on various occasions because they just don't have the resources to complete what we were asking them. So that was very challenging. So we had to go to multiple partners to make sure that we could bring the sculpture from our workshop to site, and of course offloading and installing. Yeah. So that 2 weeks, because 2 weeks was very crucial. Yeah. So following that, at the same period, I mean, these two projects I've been working on a year and a half. At the same time, the Falcon was getting installed. My lighting sculpture in their city center was getting installed the same period. So it was really, I was just in two different directions. Yeah. My head was like split in half in two different areas. And I don't know why this happened. I wish it would happen 2 months before, 2 months after, would have had time to dedicate myself to both the installations. But no, it was just meant to be. It was God's will. Yeah. They said, we're going to punish you in COVID, and you're doing it at the same time.
But hey, you lived up to the challenge, and you managed to do it. So that's something, that's to be celebrated. That's a pat on the shoulder for you and your team.
Yeah, I think, and also I think one of the hero stories that came out from this period was the Falcon sculpture that I installed, and the media really took up on this in a very positive way. They want to spread good news, and that during this period, people are creating, working, and joining a lot of hard work, effort, perseverance goes on. So they really picked it up. Yeah. And I've been blessed. I mean, globally, I have people writing about this story, and it's been fantastic.
It's amazing. I mean, it was a beautiful sculpture. And I love how you incorporated the Falcon as a heritage in the Middle East while with the modern look of the headphones. It's a nice fusion of the past and the future. So it
Well,
was
you
really
look
cool.
at you wearing headphones. So
Exactly. I was thinking the same things.
it's for your generation.
I know.
It's
As
meant
I
for
was
you
saying
guys.
it, I'm looking at my headphones and I'm like, it kind of fits perfectly. It's amazing. And they look similar too, which is the
They're
ironic
very
part.
similar.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
very, very similar.
So
It,
what were some of your inspirations in terms of this project and in general? I know because a lot of times the hotels or the restaurants that approach you, or whether it's the homeowners, they would have a certain criteria or certain look that they'd want the sculpture or the art to because they have the ambiance that they want to achieve, and they look for you to help achieve that ambiance. So there is some sort of limitation, but at the same time, I feel like you do retain your creative freedom. How do you balance that out? And what are inspirations do you use?
well, I mean, I've tried to spend a lot of time with the whoever the architects, designers, or the end user client maybe. I really try to understand. I try to get in their mind, in their hearts, and see exactly what they want to see in the space. You
Mm-hmm.
know, architects is more working more commercial driven projects, so there's a lot of requirement how a various audience is going to perceive this sculpture piece of artwork. So that they're very open and they're a very fine thin line has to be observed. There's so too many parameters that we have to kind of consider. When it comes to a home or residential, there's much more creative freedom. You can really explore, and I like to spend time with my clients beforehand, really get to understand them. And a lot of times, our lesson in the beginning is let's have lunch or dinner together, and let's just talk about past. You know, why are you doing this? You know, you're doing this purely because you want to visually see something in that space.
Mm-hmm.
So let me get into your mind and try to understand what is that you want to make, why you want to make this. You know, you're not going to eat on it, you're not going to sit on it. You're really doing it because you want something to make for yourself and something to show to the people. So let's go crazy.
Yeah.
Let's not just walk that fine thin line. No, go mad and go crazy and do something that's gonna really say every day you see it, you're like, wow, I love this piece. And
Yeah.
it should give you that
Because it's going to be in
incredible
your home, so
feeling.
you have to
You know?
feel good about it when you see it. And I think they're in great hands. You know, I've seen a lot of your work, and it's very demanding for the eyes. Like it demands attention, which is really cool. You know, I've seen some
It's,
of the
it's, it's a
homes as
very
well.
it's a very visual thing, end of the day, art sculpting is a very visual thing, and that's what it just gives you pleasure, by looking at it. And if you
Hmm.
every time if you don't look at it, if you don't get that wow feeling, then I've done something wrong. And I try to right in the beginning, I tell my clients that's what we're trying to achieve here. So let's give you a very long lasting experience from this particular piece.
Yeah, yeah, and it's incredible because these people, whether it's hotels or whether it's homes, they ask for your touch, and it's such an incredible, I think, honor, and it's so nice to see your work being viewed, whether it's privately or publicly, for people to feel better. So you're spreading joy, which I completely respect as an industry, you know. And speaking of the industry, how has it been? Because you recently moved your gallery to the design district. How has it been being a part of the design district community and seeing it? Because it's a new upcoming place, but it's a very different vibe than the rest of Dubai. It's very cool. It's very different. And it's what's your input on that?
Well, 3 years ago, I had a pop up in D3, and there was a space that they invited me to do in 48 hours. I made an art display, a lighting display, and I just became part of the design days. It happens once every year in November. I was there for 4 days. The 4 days, I got to experience so many different dynamic people who are in the industry and not in the industry who came to really be part of this incredible creative 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
And I was blown away. I loved it. And there was love at first sight. And at that period, there was so much interaction and attraction to my space. D3 approached me and they offered me space. And I immediately said, you know what, I'm in. And I
Yeah.
signed a 3-year lease. And that's been 3 years going on. So every single time I have been evolving that space. So until now, I've not come to a point that I can say I'm there yet.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm still working on it. I'm still changing, enhancing. I'm trying to make it what I want to go to, what I can, and I can go and say, wow, I love it. So it's still it's a discovery process. So when you're there, I always come across something. I want to keep on changing it and want to make moves and just adapting to it. So that's a district what it gives me. Every time you're there, you see something, you feel something, you hear something, and you want to add something new to your space. And you want to always, keep up the Jones in a creative way to offer something unique and fantastic. So the space is incredible. Great F&B opportunities. There are quite a few unique boutiques. Of course, on top level is all the ateliers and the fashion houses, and people do craft work in many different ways. There's a lot of things to explore. Most people, when they come to the district, they kind of get lost because they don't do their research in advance. So I suggest when you do want to come to the district, spend like an hour or two, go online and see what's there, so you know what points to hit. Otherwise, when you come there, you're going to get displaced. When people come to my gallery, I ask them, I said, is it first time here? They say yes or no. If they say it's first time here, then I take them on like a curated journey. I said, listen, let me take you around. Spend 10 minutes with me. Let me show you all the buildings. Let me show you what's what and what's where and what you can do in a couple of hours. And I think they understand it and they appreciate that personal touch. Yeah. I think as a community, all of us are responsible in giving that feeling. And that's what I feel, that D3 is my community, and I'm trying to give the visitor a very unique, personalized look to it. So the space is amazing. You've been coming there quite a lot,
Yeah, which is great. I mean, because I think your personality is a reflection of D3 in a lot of ways, and it's super modern, super stylish and fashion, and it's just an incredible place to be. It's just very different and very vibrant in its own way, and it's unique. And like you said, spending time researching is something that will really help you pinpoint where you want to see. Personally, I enjoyed being just taken back by just going, and because it was a complete different vibe. I was shocked when I saw the boutiques there. It didn't feel like Dubai. It felt like I was somewhere else.
Oh, you're somewhere else. Yeah,
exactly.
You can be in LA, you can be in Milan, you can be in Miami.
It was really cool in that way. Yeah,
very cool.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky because in my building number 7, I'm housed surrounded by some various cool F&B and boutique shops. I have Espresso Lab, which is the best coffee in all of Dubai. Then you have the Japanese ramen restaurant, which is which is insane. All the products come from Japan.
I haven't tried that one yet. Yeah, I need to.
Yeah, it's really, really funky.
I love Lighthouse. Lighthouse is really good.
Light is very nice. And you got Home Bakery just around the corner. And then you have Montroy also just around the corner. It's all in that one building. So you can spend the entire day just going to all those different areas and exploring and just seeing something really different. And it's an amazing, very cool, vibrant vibe. Even now, people are still not going out, but in my space, on a daily basis, it's packed.
Yeah. And it's one of the few places, and when lunchtime comes, you see everyone's outside, out and about, chilling, and it's just so different than other places. Like I work in JLT, and in JLT, people just go to the restaurants, but you don't see like a lot of socializing.
The gathering is not there.
Yeah, and I feel like when you're walking around the design district, if I'm walking with someone that I know there, they're saying hi to everyone, which shows and reflects how tight that community is.
Yeah, because the lunchtime, the community actually comes together. All the buildings come together in one single area, and you see them. And at the same time, when you do that, hey, what are you working on? I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Then you get to talk about your creative process. Could be from either clothing or jewelry or architecture, and in my case, interiors and arts. And then you gravitate from each other's current projects or past projects, and sometimes it turns into commerce. You'll talk to somebody, I'm doing this, or can you? Can I collaborate? Yes, of course, why not? And then so it's worked out for me in a positive way that I would say, if you work on this and you hear about it, and then you just build momentum from that point on. So there's a lot of architects and designers who are housed there, and they do some incredible work.
So you do a lot of different referrals and different collaborations, like you said. It's really cool, honestly. I love that place. I wish I was closer. But like you said, I've been spending a little bit more time there. But so it's what are your favorite pieces? Because you've worked on so many different things now. Do you have a favorite one, or do you... What I don't know, because I feel like they're all your creations. So I don't know how you feel.
2 years ago, the W sculpture was was insane. It was amazing. It weighed almost 4.5 tons. So it was a lot of. It was a mammoth project installed there on the palm was a challenge of its own. But of course, the Falcon at the moment, the Red Falcon and Radisson Red, it's probably my most favorite piece. I have to take you there.
I have to see it. Yeah, I have to see it live. Yeah.
I'm organizing quite a few group trips to the Radisson Red during the sundowner time, so you can see the morning and evening period of the Falcon. It changes actually. It's changed the color, even the way you incorporate the lights from the in the front and the back. The shadow effects of the light, it really transfers the Falcon to a very different feature. So you do have to come and see it. So that's my absolute favorite at the moment. And I mean, every time I go there, I just want to climb on top.
I know, it looks really, really cool. Honestly, I cannot wait to see it. It'll be really, really cool. And you've also worked on lights, a lot of lights, and I believe Burj Al Arab as well, correct?
That's right.
And that was your first project?
Yeah, in Dubai, yes.
That's a great first project. And it's globally recognized, which I think is great because now you've built this portfolio of beautiful sculptures and arts. And I remember when we were having dinner at Toro, and I had no idea the bulls were your creations. We were just talking. I'm like, these bulls are so cool. You're like, yeah, I made those. That was a nice surprise, you know. So it's really cool that you managed to have your touches in so many places, and people that live in Dubai especially are maybe not conscious of it, but they've seen your work and you've touched them in ways like even in the lounge in Emirates. I remember seeing your pictures and I saw your signature. I'm like, Neel, is that like? So it's really nice that you've managed to, even on a subconscious level, without people realizing it's you, influence so many lives and inspire people and add to the ambiances and environment. So that's something I absolutely love about your industry and you as a content creator.
So my father is going to get involved very much with photography. As you know, my father is a very old historian in the Emirates. He was a photographer who took the pictures of the 1971 Federation of the UAE, the signing of the Federation, and the 7 rulers were standing. So in my
and just to interrupt you very just quickly, to the people that don't live in Dubai was or the UAE. The UAE was founded in the 70s, and his father so it was a coming of different states. You have different Emirates, and that's why it's United Arab Emirates. And his father happened to be there to photograph all of that firsthand, which was an incredible moment in history for the country and region. And sorry, continue, Neel.
No, that's right. Thank you. So 2nd December 1971, and so that was the official signing of the Federation, the UAE, and the UAE was formed. And then there's a museum there called Ittihad Museum, which is my father's permanent museum showcasing his work of that particular day only. That's where the founding fathers got together and formed the United Arab Emirates. My point being that because he was one of the most recognizable photographer who brought analog back to life, because it was all negative, 120 and 3 by 4 inch format negatives. Upstairs in my hot tub, we are creating a darkroom experience. Not experience, but actually a full-fledged darkroom with 20 stations. And there are going to be master classes that are going to be taught by my father in this space as his contribution to the community, to teach a younger generation what it means to work and photograph and analog photography and how to develop film and photographs. Yeah. So that's what this space, I built this space 100,000 square feet. So I'll walk you around
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. Yeah, he's an incredible photographer. It was like the emotions that he gets to capture. It was so powerful and moving.
Yeah, so that's what's going to happen here. So it's going to become a hub of art, but also a hub of learning. So it's going to be Neel Shukla Institute of Photography, and he's going to be teaching and giving what he has learned to many who want to, take analog photography under their belt.
That's incredible. He's passing the mantle. And speaking of museums, you're heavily involved also in the Louvre. Isn't that correct?
So we have a very lovely group of people called American Friends of Louvre. It's a group of Americans that got together many years ago. It's chaired by Christopher Forbes from the Forbes family. And the goal of the group is to basically have philanthropy as a main part of their contribution to the Louvre, and from not only from funding to time contribution, and also research and restoration. So we do in our own ways. The members who are all over the world, from Europe, from Far East Africa. I'm the member. I'm the only member actually in Dubai, and we are involved with various aspects of the activities in the Louvre and outside the Louvre. So we help the Louvre, spread the message of the Louvre on a global platform in our own capacity. But we are very involved with how we can help the Louvre make sure that the resources they have are showcased. So one of the big event took place last year was a restoration of 18th century pastels. Judy Khan, who's our member, she spent 2 years in restoring those pastels. Of course, she funded the entire project. So the entire wing actually was her contribution to the Louvre. And
Amazing.
so a lot of the members, and they will, a lot of them are, of course, very, very wealthy, which is good.
Yeah.
And they will really support them with resources and financial benefits to the Louvre. So they need help, and that's how the museums are more active by groups like ours. I play a very small contribution, but I'm very happy to be part of that group.
Of course, it's such an honor, and at the same time, it must be so nice to see the region having its own Louvre open up, and to be able to involve in something that is global, that brings the world together. Because I think the Louvre, when you go and you see it, it's really like a history of humans and the human race, and it's very nice to see how we're all together coming into one, because it is, in the end, we're all part of humanity. And then I think with your industry and with your contributions to the Louvre as well, it's a reflection of who we are as individuals and as a collective as well. So I love that. And so now I want to talk a little bit about health, because as everyone who's watching can see, you are incredibly fit. And how is that? How does health play a role in your? Because I know you're very active. What I love is how you always go running in the morning, and you promote it on Instagram. And so I wanted to talk, how does physical activity play a role in your life, and what benefits do you see from it?
I think, end of the day, I mean, we come to a point in our lives that the mind and body have to work together, and if they're not in sync, then there's no balance, and no matter what you do, you're gonna fall or fail in some way. So I always try to balance those two things out. Physical activities are always. I do gym twice a day. I do cardio in the morning, and I do gym in the evening. And I don't do any heavy weights. I'm nice to be much more larger in my early part of my life, and bulking up weights and protein, but that's gone. So it's more just being more cut, more refined. But of course, having a cardio as part of my routine is very, very important. And no matter, even though we do have late nights, but when you add that component to your daily lifestyle, within half an hour, 1 hour, you're just like a rocket. The more you insert exercise in your life, the more energy you get out. This is how I feel. My morning mantra is always running. The days I don't run, you'll end up doing pull-ups, push-ups. I have a certain regimen which I always do, and that really is very enduring. In half an hour, I can really get some incredible workout going with very, very basic things. And then in the evening, I do different body parts depending on how I'm feeling. And I also try to bring my boys into the equation, saying that we have a home gym, so it gets much easier as soon as they come home and they get involved. So now it's more about me coaching them on physical fitness. But I must say the young generation is not that motivated.
Yeah. You mean we gotta work? We gotta lift our finger and then do stuff?
This is what
yeah. It's honestly, it's super difficult. Even for me, like, I work out, I want to say 5 to 6 days a week. Not as much stamina and cardio. I've just started. I'm starting, jump ropes and treadmill and all these things. But I think even though I love it, even though I do it all the time, I still find difficulty getting up and just doing it. I still delay it 10 minutes. But I think once you get used to it, you see the benefits, you see the results, you see the being able to breathe better, like you said, mind and body. And so it's a great thing to incorporate into your daily lives. And I want to move from health now to family, since you mentioned your kids. You have 3 beautiful kids. one about to go to college. I know Sylvia must be both happy and sad to let one of the kids go. How is it being a father, and what kind of what kind of morals and what kind of beliefs do you want to enroot in your your children? And how's that been? Can you take us through that journey?
Well, in honesty, I don't feel that we are like parents. I think we're more of their friends. So it's a very interesting way we raise our children. We just raise our children the way we are. We've not changed as a couple or as individuals to raise our children. We said, they're going to pretty much be around our surroundings, and that has brought them to a very much comfort level. They say, these are my parents, and then and they've adapted that, which is great. Because the moment you try to change yourself, then it becomes really weird. So now we do things which you always do always. It's never been anything different. And now they see it, and I guess it's a reflection of us, personality and our lifestyle, which is exactly how they are now. So I don't know if I can explain it. I'm doing a good job at this, but we have not changed as a couple. We're still the same that we were 20 years ago. Probably be married 25 years next year.
Amazing.
So I think that's the real secret. Don't change yourself.
Yeah.
Be who you are from the beginning, and then that's it. And then if you are who you are, you're doing what you're supposed to do, then that's it. It's gonna sort of reflect in your children.
Yeah, it's incredible, and I love the way you and Sylvia are. You're just, and the way to see you interact with your kids as well. Last time when we hung out, it was super amazing because you can see yourselves in them, and at the same time you see who they are as individuals now, because they reached an age where they formulate their own likes and dislike, and but they have the confidence because you made them just be you, and I love that about it, about them, and about the way you raised them. So how did you and Sylvia meet? I don't think I know the answer to this.
No, it's going on many years now.
Yeah.
I used to work in Bloomingdale's in Miami in the falls.
Okay.
And I was working in the RAF floor department.
I can so see that. Just a young Neel, like.
No, not clothing. No, I was working in the home.
Okay.
In the furniture, in the lamps and everything. So even that, I was involved with the whole lamps. I love the home decor. And her sister used to work in Lancome, and Sylvia used to come and visit her sister, on occasion, and I used to always, see her. So whenever I used to see her, I used to say hello and I used to greet her. And so she really completely talked to the hand.
Yeah.
She never really talked to me. So I was very persistent. I was very much. I was really, really right away. I was taken by her. I said, you know what? This is the girl. I know she's the one. And it was a long courting process. It was very challenging. I remember the first time that I met her, and back then, there was no cell phones. It was a home phone thing. You had to take somebody's number down, whatever. So I gave her, and I said, no, I would like to get you all right now. Can I have your number? And she said, no.
No way.
I said, okay. So I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to give you my number. I gave it to her. I think she kind of turned around and threw it up and threw it out.
Sylvia, what are you doing?
Yeah. She's killing me. But I was very persistent. I kept on, pursuing her, chasing her. And my first, official date was actually at her parents' home in front of her sisters, her uncle, and the dog.
Oh, wow. No pressure there, huh? No pressure at all.
I was like, okay. And she comes from a very traditional Colombian family. So the family aspect was very, very important. My parents were not there. They were in Dubai. And there was a long time courting. At the same time, while I was dating her, actually, I was getting very close to her family. I think the first 2 years, both the sisters used to always come every single date with us.
Wow.
Never without that. And so it was a very beautiful, organic
coming together of families as well.
And knowing them, and of course.
Were you still in college, or did you graduate by then?
No. We were in college.
You're in college.
And then when I decided to move to Dubai, we were not married at that time.
Yeah.
And I told her, listen, I'm thinking of considering moving back to Dubai. I have a project here. And she's okay, fine. I said, do you want to come and see Dubai? Because I don't want you marrying and say, come to Dubai. And she was like, I hate it. So
Yeah.
I said, no. She said, okay, I'll come and visit. She came and visit. She saw it. And I said, would you consider living in a place like that? She's like, yeah, I would. And then we got married and then
Amazing.
transitioned to Dubai.
That's an incredible story. I can't believe she rejected you. Sylvia, God damn it. He's handsome. What are you doing? No, it's funny. It's amazing because like seeing you two together is incredible. Like you're one of my favorite couples, and I hope one day I get lucky enough to meet someone that makes me feel the way that you two are, and someone as beautiful as Sylvia as well. That's of course good job, both of you. And it's amazing. It's a cool, great story. And now I want to move, since you have so many different things in life. You love cars, and you founded Ferrari Club here. How has that been? And have you always been interested in cars? I mean, the designs of them, phenomenal. Were you interested in the design aspect? What part of cars do you like, and how was it forming a club, managing
So
it?
let me take a little backtrack. So
Yes.
my first gallery was Burj Al Arab Gallery many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, there was a CEO of Microsoft. His name was Fred Kemperman. He was always on that Khalid Walid Road, which is actually the road of technology. And he had office. Microsoft had his head office back there at that time. And he became my client as Furniture's Home in Jumeirah. And we became friends. After a few years, Fred retired, and then he didn't want to go back to Germany. And I took him on board as my IT director. And so he could stay in Dubai and just hang out. He didn't want to go back to Germany.
Yeah.
So one trip we were in Maranello, and Microsoft back then used to sponsor F1 in particular, and then he knew Schumacher, and he ended up meeting Schumacher. I met Schumacher, and then Schumacher kind of said, listen, we need presence in the UAE, especially here. You belong to Ferrari. You should make a Ferrari club, and you should really take the lifestyle Ferrari and make it happen. So when Fred and I came back, he started the Ferrari Club with a handful of people. I was one of the first members who joined, and then the club started growing from that point on. So Fred was the real creator of the club, and the club from 3 members became like a very big thing. So now it's probably the most active club in the whole world. Not just racing, but lifestyle, and they promote a certain lifestyle. So it's more of a family and racing. And people come together for passion for Ferrari itself. So it's been quite an interesting journey being part of the club from the beginning point on.
Yeah. And have you are you loyal to Ferrari then, or do you also appreciate other cars?
No, I'm loyal to Ferrari.
You're loyal to Ferrari. That's it. One way. What color is your car? I don't think I've seen your car. What color is it? Red. Okay, that does not surprise me. Like I could have guessed it. That's awesome. And now your kid is going to the States. How do you feel about that? Sending Dimitri away.
Well, it's if this was the case many years ago when I went to college from Dubai, the way I flew was Dubai, Bahrain.
Hey, shout out Bahrain.
London, New York. New York to, I think it was
Fort Lauderdale, or was it?
And another to Miami. So I had 4 pit stops to get to Miami.
Wow, how many hours is that?
So it's a very different time. So now we have technology, and now we have so many different ways to connect it. And air travel, of course, now is a little bit challenging, but within a year's time, it'll be different. So it's easy to communicate, easy to do this. And so it's not that bad. But of course, it's very, very nostalgia for us to lose him to go there. It's also easier to communicate and easier to go. So if you really want to see him, he can fly over, we can fly over there. But I'm very, very happy and proud of him that he gone to Carnegie Mellon.
Yeah, incredible school.
It's truly a great achievement for him to get there, and he has he not only has the intellect to do that, but he's got the desire to really add and contribute to the school and to his future career. So I'm
Amazing.
very, very
Yeah.
proud.
I can't wait to see what he accomplishes. He's going to be incredible. You want to hear one of my predictions? I predict that in 2 years' time, maximum, you're going to have a gallery in the States to be closer to him. I know it. I'm calling it from now. I'm calling it from now. And it'll be great. I think I studied in the States, as have you, and it's such an incredible place. And you get to, it really fuels your drive, I think. Because I did the UK and I did the US. And the UK, there was a lot of it was great universities, but I didn't see the motivational aspect of it as much as I did in the States. The States really made me believe that nothing is impossible and it's time to accomplish your dreams. So I hope he has a similar experience. I'm sure he will, if not better, I'm sure. Do they start next semester, by the way, or how is that with COVID? Did they
They start in August.
August? And is it online still, or are they going to?
No, I mean 2 months the campus is going to be open, and after that, in November, it is going to go online again.
Okay.
So now we're going to big debate: should he go and come back, or should he just go online? So we're still just figuring that part out. So yeah, this whole COVID thing is so.
It's really really crazy how it just stopped the world. It put us, it's insane. It put every
and you
industry.
make decisions on a day-to-day basis. Every day is a new reality.
I know, and it's so crazy because you see everything became a little bit easier in Dubai. You can go to restaurants, you can do all these things now, but it still is a weird vibe. And at the same time, all it takes is one time. And so you never really know. And the long-term effects, there's so many different unknowns. And do you see it changing the industry that you're in terms of interior design for the next foreseeable future?
Well, I know the artists, the creative people around the world, they've really been suffered. The market has just kind of disappeared for a while because they're not able to showcase their works in galleries and everything. So that's really hurt them a lot.
Yeah.
So that's been a big challenge for the creative industry, especially the contemporary art. And so I hope this going to come out soon because all the art fairs have been canceled. This big thing. And nobody predicted this happen all of a sudden. If you know something's going to happen, you plan,
of course,
organize accordingly, so you're prepared. But this is something that came out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. So do you have any advice? Because, for example, my sister, is about to, I want to try to help her out because she's an artist to gain momentum and to gain recognition out there. So how do we go about it in a Corona days? We can't have a gallery or set up even a pop-up. So all these upcoming artists that are currently have been working on their projects, whether it's 6 months, a year, 2 years, what routes and channels can they use nowadays in order to promote their art and to get out there?
I think the best thing for me, social media has helped me a lot, both through LinkedIn and through Instagram. I showcase my work. I'm in my studio a lot, as you can see me. I show my creative process. I talk about it. I get a lot of people involved in my studio. They come and see exactly what's taking place. I think talking about it and showing it, and not just the end product, but the journey of that product, the real story behind how you come to that end, I think is very important.
Yeah.
And,
and you also showcase everyone working on it. I love how you show all your team and how you're very inclusive and very motivational. And it's an incredible thing to see, especially advertised. Yeah.
Yeah, they're part of the process. They're part of the creative journey, and it's important that they be recognized. And we talk about it. It's not a single man show. It's a family.
Of course. Dream project. Go. What's your dream project?
The Louvre.
The Louvre? Yeah. The one here or a new one?
In Paris. To create something that's going to be showcased in the Louvre. That's my dream.
Create something that's showcased in the Louvre. Oh, that's going to be incredible. Oh, I can imagine an entire light exhibition that just Neel Shukla made. That'd be so cool.
The Dubai camel. The Dubai camel in the Louvre.
Oh my gosh. Man. That would be, or you make a French camel somehow. You blend in these two, these two cultures.
Or a camel climbing the pyramid of the Louvre.
Oh, now that's an idea. That's an idea right there. Be iconic. I don't
think Jean Nouvel would appreciate that.
Probably not.
Like, but there will be no camel in the pyramid.
You cannot. You simply cannot. But I will for sure be popping champagne bottles with you when that day comes, because you have that vision, you have that creative process, and I'm sure one day you'll get that. And speaking on the other aspect, what are some of your favorite designers and inspirations out there, whether it's in the lighting world or the sculpture world, now that you're a
I mean,
sculptor?
I was gravitate to I mean, I love the old masters. I mean, there's so much history behind the old masters, and nothing can change that. At the moment, I'm loving Anish Kapoor, what he's doing, this incredible work that he's doing, his big, huge scale persona, and what he produces is like gigantic. So I'm really gravitating towards him more and more as we speak. Da Vinci has always been my single favorite creative craft person. So a lot of my research goes to Da Vinci. I was able to actually go to his 500-year anniversary opening in the Louvre, which was absolutely incredible. The most significant, most important piece, 110 pieces of his works were housed under one umbrella. And that exhibition was open for one day, then it closed down.
Wow.
And then opened up 2 weeks later. But within the period, the Italian government made a big ruckus that how come so many pieces were showcased in Louvre and not in Italy? That's Italian.
Yeah.
So the pieces had to go back to Italy. So only for the one night, we were lucky to have seen the most incredible collection of Da Vinci's work.
The energy in there must have felt phenomenal. Oh my God, I can't imagine it. And the people that must have been there as well to attend, all the artists, all the of the modern day, it must have been such inspirational conversations, and what a time to
No,
be.
it was a brilliant evening. It was incredible. And then most people didn't get to see that after that, which was like very sad.
Yeah. I'm sure it's at least you got the privilege to see it, and talking about it just makes me kind of want to live it. But at the same time, I'm happy that it happened. I think with technology's advancements, eventually we'll be able to showcase a lot more work. Of course, it won't be the same as seeing it live, but I think
it's a different vibe. You're there, you belong, you bring the air, you're hearing the noise of the other people, and you see. And I mean, it could be anywhere in the world. It could be Africa, it could be Mumbai, it could be Dubai. But when you're there physically, you're around humans. It just your body and mind.
And you feel like I mentioned earlier, the energy of the place, the energy of the people, their reactions, the pieces that are there. It's just such a different vibe. I think you can't replicate that. But it's such a spectacular thing to witness. Are you influenced, by the way? Do you have a certain type of architecture or design that you lean towards? Because different countries have very different design styles. Like if you're talking about the Japanese styles, which is the Indian style, versus the modern day styles. There are so many different ones. What do you see yourself leaning towards? Which might be a difficult question.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, at my gallery in Dubai Design District, we're showcasing Jonathan Adler, and he is very much showcasing work in mid-century modern American furniture. It's a very eclectic, very whimsical, very colorful genre of way interiors are showcased. I'm loving that current style at the moment. Maybe next year something different, but at the moment I'm really into that.
Yeah,
and there's not a singular finishing. It's a combination of various finishes and all around gold, silvers, bronze, various woods, and various colors. So I'm really loving the way it all comes together. If you see my gallery, you'll experience that very colorful vibe, and that old Mr. American furniture and a beautiful journey and story to it. So it's really very cool.
I'll have to come check it out. Yeah. It is. It's just I remember your gallery, but you changed it now. You have new stuff, so I need to come check it out. If you have any advice for new designers and people that want to become artists and want their work displayed in hotels, restaurants, and all these different cool projects that you're doing, what would be your advice to those people? How would they go about it? And is going to design school necessary to achieve that? And what is the thing that helped you the most in penetrating this world and at the same time in scaling it?
I come from a family of artistic people, so I did not go to school for artistry. So I don't have the fundamental background of going to art school. I didn't do that. So I'm pretty much a self-taught research what I'm doing at the moment. So number one, passion. You got to be a passionate person. It's got to be in your heart. You want to be creative. You want to create, and it's not for commerce. It's just because you believe in it, because you love it, and this is what you want to. You want to do it for your sake. That will lead you into so many different journeys. That's going to eventually be seen by people, and there'll be commerce out of it. A lot of people, what happens nowadays is the first thing is that, can I sell it? Was it worth? No, it's wrong. It's not about that. Even me, we do so many things in our studio, and majority of the time it's not about selling. It's about just experimenting with materiality, with styles. We do things that we know we're going to fail, but we want to do it because we understand how we fail and how we can understand what we have touched, felt, how it's taking shape, and it's a beauty to it. And if I find beauty to it, maybe there's at least one person out there who's going to find beauty to it. So that my single biggest advice is, don't be afraid. Just jump into it. If you feel that you are like to experiment, play with things, and eventually art will come out of it. If you find it beautiful, I'm sure somebody else will, and then there will be a value to it. So that's the thing. Don't just sell about, okay, I'm going to make this, I'm going to put it on the internet, I'm going to sell it. I mean, we have so much things in our studio. You have no idea. We have so many things. I'll never put that on any of my social feed. Say, I'm selling this for this. That's not the goal.
Yeah. No, it's definitely like, I don't think that's something that's also, it's very hard if you're an upcoming artist to even, if your goal is to sell it, it's hard for you to figure out your pricing because you're an upcoming artist in the end of the day, so, and different people evaluate differently. And I think, like you said, it really stems from passion, because if you're doing it for money purposes, I think it'll show. People won't be moved, because what moves people with art is the rawness of it, and it won't be raw if your motivation is just monetary. That's just my take onto it. But you think so? If someone doesn't have connections, if someone is, let's say, wasn't afraid and jumped into creating this artwork, how would they go about? Because in the end of the day, they have to put food on the table.
Yes.
How can they sell it? What channels should they use if they have no network and they don't know anything about the art world? Like, they didn't have parents that were into art and they're just trying to really pursue their passions. What would be the best mechanism to get yourself out there, besides like and in social media, are there any tricks to it as well, if you're posting on social media, that can get you out there?
So I come from a pre-internet age, so I was there way before internet was out there. So we relied on very basic, simple steps: paint, gallery, exhibition, sell, and that's what my parents knew what I knew. Fast forward all these years, every single week is a new reality. It's a new way to showcase, channel your work outside to the world. Before, your market was so small, you could just focus on maybe a 200-kilometer radius, and that was your market cap. Now the whole world is your oyster. You put something online, the entire world, if it's really amazing, fabulous, cool, raw, the whole world can see it. They'll react. They'll adapt to it. So what I'm trying to say is, now through internet, you really can really show the whole world what you are about, what are you doing. So you have to prep yourself. You have to prepare yourself way in advance. So if you're going to create for 1 year, keep on creating, keep on working. Make a body of artworks beyond your regular 9-to-5 job, in which you put bread and butter on the table. Have that.
Of course.
But at the same time, in the evening and the weekends, create. When you have a beautiful body of work, then just figure out in a very simplistic way how to show it online.
Yeah.
There are a lot of galleries online who take your work, you can show it. Price it extremely stupidly cheap, period, to get a mark and to get a following.
Yeah.
But then you don't just do one artwork, have hundreds.
Of course.
So you're ready, and you just you play out. You could sketch or paint or sculpt, anything. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
is irrelevant, and that's going to kickstart you in many different ways. It's a simple example. You saw my bowls in Toronto. You know those bowls I made almost 70 years ago.
Wow.
You know, or 7, 8 years ago. So it was a very, very long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
So from that point on till now, it's taken this long for people to understand and take me as somebody who sculpts big sculptures.
Yeah.
So it's not been an easy journey. It's been a very
Yeah.
long. I did so much behind the radar, which you never got recognized. Now I never talked about it because I never felt comfortable that I was ready to even go out there and talk to a media, talk to the editor. You know, they say, you know what, I've done this. Can you showcase it? Because they would say, you know what, they'll laugh at me like that. Get
Yeah.
real. But now when it comes to my point after all that time, and I say, you know what, I've done this, like, yes, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So you do have to put your time, effort into it. Just keep on creating.
Yeah.
And then you come to a point and then people are going to take you seriously, and then you'll be showcased.
Yeah. So patience and perseverance, because you got to be continuous, and at the same time,
keep
you're not
on
going to blow up. Yeah. You're not going to blow up from one piece. You have to build the background. Yeah, I think I'm very excited to see your next works. I'm really, really excited. And
I'm going to take you outside for a second because I'm going to show you the sunset.
yes,
If
let's see
the
it.
sun is going down, I don't want you to miss it. Here you go.
Let's see it.
So we're walking out of my office. Here you go. 1 second. As you can see, I love the color orange.
Yeah.
Oh, it's already going down. Oh,
that's perfect sunset right there.
yeah.
This is
my
in,
studio, as you can see.
yeah, this is in Jebel Ali, right?
It's in Jawlai.
Yeah. I still need to see it because I've only seen your gallery. I'd love to come see the scale and the works behind the scene.
So this is the main. Oh, sorry. This is the main. This is my office basically. This is my entire office.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. And
I have some incredible pictures of the founding fathers I can see here.
mm-hmm. And those are the pictures your dad took, I'm assuming.
My dad took, and then the one here.
Yeah. And this place is new. You only built it like last year, I believe, right?
Yeah. We've been here for 1 year.
Yeah, 1 year. It's crazy that we met 2 years ago, man. Like, what? How does time fly? I don't, man, I wanted to just say thank you for joining us a lot. And I think this was one of the interviews I was very excited for. And it's been great catching up with you. I hope that in the future we do this again once the podcast also has, multiple viewers. And I'm excited for it, Thank you again for joining me, Neel. And right back at you, homie. And look forward to seeing you soon, hopefully this week. Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Have a great day.
You guys keep on watching, and thanks for your support. Ciao, Khalid.
Peace.